in the last week so far now. But here we go. Fusion University versus NRG Esports. We're starting off on Lighthouse. And we're seeing the dive coming out. And this is interesting because on the opposite end, NRG Esports possibly going with the triple DPS composition. Smex currently sitting on the Sombra for them. Stratus going to take to the Stratosphere with the Sphara.
Not running D.Va is always a bold choice. It's where you're going to have to put a lot of faith in Stratus to do well on his Pharah. I will say after watching him pretty considerably in the lead up to Contenders, he does feel like his strength is more on the Genji side of things, but we'll see if this works out. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Butcher to stay alive, especially when you're used to playing with a D.Va as a tag team partner.
Now Stratus though, he's in the sky. There's no one really to contest him. There's no long-range hit scan to really deal with him. They can try and pepper him or maybe go for an individual hack onto him to clip his wings. It's already cracking Lacken though, starting it off as he found the pick out to Damon.
And the problem here for Envision is that if they don't get serious poke coming out of the Pharah here immediately, or sorry, not Envision, but NRG Esports, if they don't get that poke early on, it's not going to work out. They don't have staying power. They're going to get bullied because the other team's running a D.Va and you're not. And that's what we're seeing here, where Stratus wasn't able to land enough early on and wasn't even necessarily missing. The opportunities didn't become available. So they're putting a lot of faith in the Pharah being able to open this up, even as they give up ground on the ground war.
Now, take a look at the positioning coming up from Fusion University. They split up their teams, the tank lines on the points, while the DPS, or excuse me, the supports were in the back line, so that kept them safe here. Alarm, the one to clip the wings of Stratus, and so it's going to be a full reset coming up from NRG Esports, as Fusion University have already secured 26%, and it's continuing to tick up.
You need to swap off the Pharah here, because the Pharah also is a lot harder to actually retake a point compared to when you're holding it. The fact that NRG is holding onto it this long is very risky. FU is working with pretty much all the advantages in the world right here. Not the least of which, Wario got hacked, but I think he's going to be able to back out. Team immediately goes to support him. Now, hack's going to wear off. And no, he's taken down before he's able to get out, so that early hack does lead to a man advantage.
That hack duration just feels like an eternity when it's you. That is a hack now. Zachary with the EMP, he'll throw it down. Does he have the follow-up damage? Has to translocate out.
NRG Esports definitely have better engage this time around, but they also have decisively taken the point. And again, part of it is that they're not able to run the tank pressure to actually secure things as easily. They are finally able to do it via pure attrition. Fusion University, they're not out here just. This is going to be a good self-destruct over the top. Gets Rob, who is no longer Rob 420 Valley, he's Rob Dab.
I don't know which one I prefer more now.
I mean, it's being worthy either way, right?
Yeah.
But now Stratus, on the top, has the barrage loaded up and doesn't need to use it here. NRG Esports able to comfortably get back in.
Still, there's no reliable way to deal with Stratus. Fusion University just want to win out the ground war first. Smex, it's going to be his opportunity going for that EMP. So we'll see if he can connect onto Alarm here or Beast Halo, who does have that Primal Rage.
Early EMP coming out here from NRG, but Smex is punished directly, and the barrier comes out from FU to keep them well alive as they move in. So they handle the EMP in a really coordinated way. Stratus now under pressure in the back, still holding the barrage. It's kind of a trump card if he can find a good time to use it, but again, his team's getting bullied so hard in the ground war that he can't really go in, and it's Crack Lacken who just rolls up in his face and says hello. It's going to be a fairly easy take here for Fusion University.
Yeah, it seemed like that EMP was a bit panicked coming out from Smex there because Beast Halo jumped onto him and that might have been the target he was looking for. Oh, that's a great staggered kill onto Rob.
Early staggered kill, no less. And again, Fusion University just going direct to spawn right now. And this is what happens when you are running a solo tank setup like this and you're not able to give your Pharah time to land, poke, and go after it. I don't know if it's a great idea, and I think NRG, they've had enough. They're now putting Specs to D.Va. Now they're running something that they can get more space with, but they're frankly running out of time.
They're running out of time, running out of space. Zachary is going to have that EMP ready as soon as they jump onto the point. That means he's going to hit so many prime targets now. 3 people right out there. EMP comes out. Pulse Bomb doesn't connect, but it doesn't matter as Elf gets the kill onto Butcher. And so who are you looking for his next target? He's after this with Mercy, and Rob will be taking out of the sky. Justice does nothing at all as Stratus just hangs in the air, gets taken out. Smex demacked, and with that, as overtime ticks away, Fusion University will walk away with the first point.
Easy stuff there for Fusion University, and anytime we've seen teams try and run these single tank setups here so far, hasn't been effective. There are ways of making it work, but you have to just completely dominate on the other end of this, right? Where you would need Stratus to be a god and just land perfect poke, early pickoffs, etc., to deal with the fact that you're essentially down a lot of control options when you're not running that second tank, because it's not just that it's 2 tanks in the field, it's that the D.Va is so remarkably important at enabling the Winston to go further and go deeper.
The D.Va also enables, I would say, the Sombra, because you can, of course, be interrupted if you go for that hack, but with the defense matrix blocking that damage, the hack will go through. There were moments where we saw that they weren't able to do it on the side for NRG. Smex is going to go back to that Sombra. It's that triple DPS once again. Stratus versus Zachary on these Widows.
It's going to be Widow v Widow. That's going to be the main point here. Zachary looking for early pickups in the Widow. Not really paying attention to his counterpart too much here, which could come back and bite him. Stratus being a little bit sneakier in the setup, perhaps looking for the other team as well. Neither Widow getting too much here early on. Both teams trading outside poke. It's going to be Who Are You here in the back again, just diving in. Both teams feeling each other out. Neither really committing too hard here.
Yeah, though I would say Zachary doing a good job of actually pulling attention towards him, though now into the back line is Alarm with the help of Who Are You, but still 3 kills to 1 for NRG as the point has opened up. It's still contested now. They're trying to fight back, but it's not enough. Damon with another kill onto Krakenlaken. Great headshot from Stratus. He had all the information to get that kill.
Stratus able to convert there off the information that he had. Now, come back up a little bit, get some healing, and again, we will watch this back and forth between Stratus and Zachary, where if Zachary can't take out Stratus, it's going to be long, long ruins for Fusion University.
Fusion University just trying to find the proper positioning here. That's not it. Stratus. Great headshot onto Zachary now as NRG looking to find more kills. Who Are You, though? Still trying to keep this point contested. Wants to apply some pressure, and that allows Alarm to get the kill on the Foz, but still Stratus uncontested. No one getting to the back line. It doesn't matter. Alarm from across the map takes him out.
Well, I guess that's one way of taking care of a Widowmaker, but again, it's going to be a long, long game. Zachary can't actually deal with stress in an effective manner, but early pickups going back and forth to a great Fusion University, applying some degree of pressure, but now, with Damon going down, they've actually done enough to start moving back in and around on the point, but they still have to touch it here first. They're trying to clean up the scraps before going on the point, and they're wasting time to a degree, but Who Are You? Finds Fozix in the back, and that final extra pickup, this will be enough for Fusion University to swap things out.
NRG, they were able to secure 98% here. We're going to see more of the Widow battles now. Take a look. It's still going to be a difficult job for Butcher to try and get into the back line, especially because NRG are running that triple DPS composition. Butcher isn't afforded the same option to try and get onto Zachary. You saw on the onset that he was very patient with jumping onto him, and so we'll see how he makes his approach. Sound barrier out. Alarm takes out Damon.
Early pickoff there, and again, keeps FU in a great position here early on. And with that early pickoff, it's going to be NRG just backing out. But luckily here, Jamerson, because of their dominance early on, they have some extra time to play with.
Indeed. But now, Beast Halo, he's got the backup of Krakenlaken, he's got this Primal Rage. If Stratus pushes too far forward with that Widowmaker, he can get punished now. FU just falling back a bit. It's Zachary once again getting the kill onto Stratus.
Well, that's a first to a degree, finally striking back the other way, and he got 2, not 1, but 2. So Zachary coming in, finally taking a little bit to wake up, and that is quite bad for NRG Esports because they've been relying on Stratus to sort of win that battle, to keep things even, but if Zachary is able to suddenly start striking back, and you have to deal with Who Are You, it's bad news.
Bad news. We've got the recon visor up. They know where they are. NRG just waiting out the duration of it, and shortly they are going to start pressing forward now. Applying pressure onto the point, sound barrier out, aggressive coming out from the side of NRG.
They open up with the barrier, they have the Transcendence Ray, the layer in right on top. Now's about the time you'd use it, especially because you have any kills, but Zachary takes down Rob before he can pass into the Iris, and that's big for Fusion University here. Now you have Who Are You in the flank, Pulse Bomb still armed, back and forth on both sides. Who Are You under pressure? Doesn't really feel comfortable throwing it out here just yet, but the pressure is still in the favor of Fusion University. And this could not be more back and forth here, but that favors the team which has control, which is still Fusion.
Yeah, and with Krakenlaken on that D.Va picking up so many kills, they're trying to recontest on the side of NRG. Transcendence, as soon as it wears off, Rob will fall now. They're just trickling in one by one. They try to go for the EMP, but Zachary gets the kill out to Stratus, and with that, Fusion University walk away with a 2-0 here on Ilios.
That seems like it kind of went the way you guys anticipated it going.
To a degree. I mean, it's a little bit weird that because teams have been trying to run more Sombra that we have a case where we're seeing Stratus now not on his old favorites, which would be running more Genji. We kind of have him in the Widow v Widow battle, which he was doing well at for a time. I don't think he was really the issue there, but I think overall what we're seeing from Fusion University is that they are the favorites coming in. They are playing at a higher overall mechanical level. It's going to be tough for NRG Esports to kind of reverse course here.
And yeah, and it's definitely tough for a player like Butcher if he's going to be playing that solo main tank without the backup of a diva. We talked about this before. When you run this triple DPS composition without that diva, Butcher just doesn't have the same windows of opportunities to try and apply pressure onto Zachary on the opposite end when he was playing that Widowmaker.
I will make it more simple right now, is that unless your players are playing like gods, keep a diva with you. The hero is really good. Compositions without diva right now don't really work out too well, so you have to have a really good reason to not run it.
So how did this this Sombra matchup kind of compare to the one that we saw earlier with Envision and Simplicity, as far as just kind of her engage on either side?
Wasn't quite the same from what we saw in our first matchup, just because of the style that NRG were playing. When we were on Lighthouse, they were playing a very slow style with that Pharah, and so the tanks, well, particularly Butcher, really couldn't press forward. So we didn't see, you know, the Sombras being able to get the hacks onto like the divas and such, just because, well, there was no opportunity there.
Yeah, and even if you're the go for Crackalack in there from the Sombra perspective, it's kind of like he has so much room to work with because he doesn't have to worry about the other diva or really other tank pressure. He got to be much more aggressive towards the flanking ends and get more kills than the diva probably should get.
Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and go to our map selection. And because Fusion did pull a win on that one, NRG is the one who got to select, and they are taking us to Hollywood.
Well, Jamerson, we thought that we would be not seeing a whole lot of Hollywood after what we saw on day one, but now we are living the star-studded life. Yeah,
I mean, it was all Noombani on Sunday, and it's been only Hollywood so far, and so this is where we get to see again. Well, NRG, I believe people might possibly run that triple DPS composition again, which I don't favor. I really do hope that they go back to just standard, put either Stratus or I guess at this point Damon on to that Sombra. More likely Stratus, because I think people have been shoehorning like Sombra in place of that Genji instead.
They have, and I mean, obviously it's mixed results, right? Where we've seen players like Jaro have a pretty good grasp on it. We've seen players like KSF kind of have less of a good grasp. So not every player is going to be playing Sombra at the same level, even as you force these normally projectile players to go to what is, again, sort of a budget hit scan.
So when it comes down to how NRG was playing in that last map, what are they going to have to do differently if they want to start pulling ahead of Fusion?
I would say for starters, don't run your triple DPS setup. Please run Diva. You have not proven to us that you can get away with not running Diva, so that's number one. And then number two certainly is contending Who Are You, because we didn't talk about it as much as probably we should have, but he was almost the untold story there, where even though he was on Tracer, he was still getting 2 kills, or at least being highly influential in getting those over and over again over the course of it, and you just can't leave Who Are You as unchecked.
Yeah, it's great seeing Who Are You flex on over to that Tracer role there, but his synergy with Beast Halo, again, it was really enabled, of course, because Kraken was on that Diva, but we got to see Who Are You both on the Tracer and Beast Halo on the Winston be able to synergize and go into the back line, make Stratus's life so difficult, while Zachary had a lot of space to work with. So I am really liking the play, the combination coming out from Fusion University.
Alrighty, well, let's see if NRG can bring it in. Back to the game. Here we go.
I'm not sure how many bright and sunny jokes we can make here, Jamerson, as we're just drowned in sunshine between Ilios and Hollywood.
Definitely not in the sunniest of dispositions right now, but Babylon Hotel. I've never actually been. Is that an actual location in Hollywood? I was born and raised in Los Angeles, but I'm not too familiar with Hollywood in like proper.
I feel like it's no, but I don't want to commit to it because I could also be making a huge faux pas. It might just be a case where it's referencing something else. But in any case, as we move forward, it's going to be NRG Esports on the attack here first, and they're going to be running fairly traditional dive, but now with the addition of the circle.
There we go. So it is going to be Damon that picks it up. Stratus is on the Tracer duty for them here as they make their approach onto point A, Fusion University. They do have Zachary on that Sombra, so Smex and Butcher, they've got to be careful. Great booster coming out there from Krakenlack to make sure that Butcher can get it into the cafe, hack even zoning out Stratus.
And you look at that, you saw Beast Halo just dive in right after the hack. good coordination between the two of them there to make that happen. Now, Giselle gets to leap into fray, doesn't have to worry about a Tracer shooting him from behind. And Fusion University, very good on the defense here, going to be taking down Smex, and this should be leading towards a reset for NRG because, frankly, everyone on Fusion University is way too healthy.
Zachary, with all the damage he was able to get off, already at 80%. So now NRG Esports, they have to be careful. Damon only at 66 himself, so Fusion University, they've got the tempo lead.
And that can be very important once you start getting ultimates in play here at NRG Esports. If they do have one upside, Rob about to get Transcendence up, so you can open up the Transcendence early here before the EMP comes in. But Beast Halo is going to fall, so now this is even better. Now here's where you commit the Transcendence. Rob going to be moving in with the rest of his team, but the EMP comes out. He gets taken out. He lost his window to Transcend, and now the defense can bring this right back. They Transcend on their own time. They go back into NRG Esports, and when they go back to the VOD review here, Jamerson, they're going to be sad.
Indeed. It looks so good for them, Rob. He had all the time in the world to go for that early Transcendence and make sure that he just did not get nerfed by that hack. And now, NRG Esports, they're down to about 2 minutes here. They're getting the rest of their ultimates up. We'll see how they coordinate around this. Fusion University, these have been good holds coming out from them, using 1, 2 ultimates at most to try and hold onto it. It's going to be Kraken Lacken with, of course, that self-destruct and Elk with the sound barrier for them. Up against the 3 of NRG, almost 4 now, as Fozix almost has a sound barrier.
NRG is just immediately going to dive in here. Transcendence enabled. Fusion doesn't use self-destruct to try and zone it out instead. Moves going to back out of it. Now they use a barrier, comes up mid-fight, and who are you? Strikes the double pulse bomb to the back. And that is good news for Fusion University. A minute 35 left away from a first point hold.
Again, Kraken Lacken is doing such a good job of controlling Butcher on that Winston. We've seen time and again, every time he goes in for that jump, he has his momentum changed. He's not able to get into the back line, and he's left just sitting with the rest of his team now. Great staggered kill onto Smex here. He's going to delay NRG even further.
And now you look towards the next fight, right? You have Zachary already primed and ready with the EMP. NRG, the way you normally go up against this in Hollywood is to try and dive the cafe, but if you're all clumped together, like, look at how clumped they are right now. This is perfect for Zachary to move in, drop the EMP, and just ruin Rob immediately, which is also going to stop him from getting much in the way of ult charge. So now he's a little bit behind, moves in later to the fight. Oh, he can take away the sound barrier, drops the EMP and does just that. Brutal news there for NRG. That could not have gone worse for them as Fusion is on point.
Zachary just turns the corner as he's in his stealth, and he sees the sound barrier. He hears the sound barrier, and he's just...
Merry Christmas. That's what that is.
You're just salivating at that point.
That's like as a kid, you finally get the gift you wanted after all this time. You gave your hints to your parents. Well, that's what he wanted there, an EMP, or a sound barrier to simply strip.
Now, Damon, he's got an EMP of his own here as Stratus is making his way onto the point. He has forced back Beast Halo. Pulse Bomb doesn't connect, but still he is low. Beast Halo is kept alive for now as Alarm pushes forward with that Transcendence set. Self-destruct doesn't connect with anyone, but Specs is able to make it back into his mech.
Both teams invest in Transcendence here. Damon can come in with the light EMP. This is the trump card here for NRG Esports. They still have everyone alive. Rob Dev, though, ends up getting taken down before the EMP hits. Still, it's a 2-man advantage coming out here for the attackers. The best chance NRG has had all game long. And now with D-Neck and Kraken Lacken, Stratus, plenty of room to work with. They should be able to bring this to fruition and finally get that limo moving, but Fusion University is still going to try and delay. We'll see if this works, but oftentimes this can be a backfire.
They make it just in time with that sound barrier now, but Elk gets hacked and he's immediately deleted by Smex. And so as the overtime is still ticking away, NRG are just able to find all these kills. Alarm answers finally back onto Damon, but is it going to be enough?
No, it's not. It's absolutely not going to be enough. They came in with really bad positioning, and even though they had the barrier, most of it was wasted by people just trying to get out of the cafe. No, it's not going to be enough. They would have been fine to let that one go and then have a really strong defense right here at the gate.
So now NRG, with that final push, 2 minutes and 15 seconds now as we move on to Westworld. They do have a composition that can contest the high ground, unlike what we saw earlier on today in our Envision Simplicity matchup. Fusion University here on the defense. We've got so many ultimates to work with as Smex jumps up with his other tank to try and dislodge them, but he has to instantly fall back.
And the key here is that they still have to be wary of the EMP, right? Zachary's going to be coming out of the skies looking to drop it here. Kraken Lacken, though, ends up getting T-Mech before any EMP is in progress, but self-destruct energy doesn't really do much. Fusion University able to just come off the flank and win it on a more mechanical level. Now they have tools for the next fight.
On the opposite end for NRG, EMP once again for Damon. Rob will have his Transcendence along with a Pulse Bomb, and Stratus with that Primal Rage, while Fusion University are tailing behind in the ultimates right now. Krakenlaken still struggling to even get back into his mech here, so this is a huge window for the offense.
And they take that window, they dive right in before they can reestablish the D.Va play. They get Elk immediately, and now it's going to be a tortured response from Fusion University, if any. They're just looking to go back, and NRG goes, no, 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 blood in the water. Everyone move in. Stratus, Pulse Bomb ready, and decides, actually, not going to go directly in. We've gotten 2 kills so far, but no, now the time they go in. They drop the EMP. They're just waiting an extra moment. They keep Fusion University off guard while 2 people push the payload all the while.
I love seeing this coming out from the team so far. NRG Esports not letting go of the pressure here, but now they know that Fusion University, they're going to have a full reset. They're going to come out as 6, and so the support line starting to fall back a little bit and allowing Butcher to maintain presence on the point. He backs away as the members of Fusion University come in to contest. It's going to be Rob taking out Zachary.
That is a Hack Zenyatta that just killed a Sombra. Things that should not happen in your video game. That right there. Yes, he had support, but still. Now the barrier coming in from NRG Esports. They sense that they have a window here. They're going to try and take it. Who are you? Tries to smash that window. Doesn't connect with the Pulse Bomb, but Fusion University's still in. They use the barrier and Transcend at about the same time, so they're layering that in, and it doesn't work as Rob, it might be Rob the Invincible, able to fight away even the D.Va dive. And who are you? One of the last hopes for Fusion University here of getting the 2nd-point hold, but his team has died all around it.
They have fallen, and we've got the swap off coming out from Zachary going over to that Soldier 76. He's going to reset himself here to who are you? Late stagger, but he will be able to respawn with the rest of his team now. NRG once again in overtime, taking the points. 1 minute and 10 seconds now left for them to complete out this map.
So they still have time, and they are making up for lost time in a sense from how they were almost full health. They got through 2nd relatively quickly, and now would be great for them here. Stratus moving forward, maybe getting a pick-off, buying more time, a free team fight with that early Pulse Bomb. It's what he's looking for here, but with Sombra play, you can't be too aggro. And of course, it was not even the Sombra play on the defense here. They've swapped it up.
Pulse Bomb did connect, but they got healed right on up, and now Stratus, EMP on out. We'll see if they find anything. It is his alarm that goes down.
Arm's gonna go down. Zachary just getting ruthless stomped by Butcher there early on, and the pain keeps on coming here from Fusion University. NRG keeping the momentum highly on their side, and now they're 1 fight away from bringing this limo in to its parking spot. They've definitely just sort of retold the story of this game.
Primal Rage for Beast Halo try to sow some confusion into the ranks of NRG as they go in for this contest. Not much to work with yet until Phasix gets his sound barrier here. So there's no Sombra in play. That's not going to get nerfed.
No, not quite. There we go. Sound barrier in here from NRG Esports as they look to move in. But Fusion University, they're going to open the Primal Rage and Disrupt. They still have the Transcendence in regard, but here comes the self-destruct to the back. Is it going to get anything? No, not really even close. Now Alarm moves in with the Transcendence. Zachary, Visor in the back, and the Visor has plenty of room to work with. Got the Zenyatta early on, able to D-mech, and just lots of protection for the Soldier when it matters most. Fusion University will stop this car just before we would like to go.
Fusion University finally putting a stop to this payload of NRG, but still, NRG, with the way that point A was going, like you had mentioned, they were pushing on borrowed time. To get this far, I take that as a victory.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a case where they were lucky to have even gone through first, the way that their first attack was just getting stuffed in just about every way possible early on. So this is certainly going to be Fusion University's map to lose in a sense, where they don't even have to get a full completion just a little bit before 3rd. But hey, we've seen teams come back here and get the 1st point hold. So first step for Fusion University, of course, will be just getting through point A.
NRG Esports on the defensive end now. We do have Smex sitting on the Roadhog, so possibly Butcher goes over for that Theresa. This is more what we're used to seeing here on Hollywood, if we do get that Theresa along with the Junkrat. So we'll see if they stick with this composition.
It's not been a very friendly day for Theresa here so far in regards to people just not caring to run her. And it's sort of interesting too, because you would think in the era of hacks and whatnot, a shield that would just kind of stay up regardless would be a little bit more valuable. But teams have just been experimenting with the new meta, and yep, Butcher right now still looking towards running this Theresa on the defense.
Well, Fusion University on the opposite end. Who are you? Back on that Genji.
So, teams getting a little bit more to their comfort zones here. What I do like seeing here is Theresa going to the Junkrat, where he does play an excellent prime level Junkrat. I'm not going to say it's like JLKE level, but it's certainly one that does really, really well and was highly impressive, especially for the Contenders level.
Fusion University. They're going to be running into a lot of spam here. Maybe they could just cut off that Junkrat and take him out early with this 2-2-2 vanilla dive coming out from them. Butcher, we'll see how well he can control them with his halt. Now Beast Halo taking a lot of damage, dropped down 200 HP, but he does survive that.
Meanwhile, Crack was almost DMAC. That could have been a very rough start for Fusion University. Lucky that both tanks were able to back out, regroup, get healed. Time's been bought here from NRG, but now Fusion University, they get to heal up. Zachary's had time to get to the back line. He's distracting. Beastale comes in from the front. Now Zachary had a moment to go to Cafe, decided to rotate back around. The pressure went on Specs and it's successful. Specs out of the fight. Zachary, though, catches some orbs to the face. It's even back up, but look at all the room who are you asked to work with here. He's going to love to dash into the Cafe in just a second.
They got the DMAC onto Kraken Lacken, though, so that means that this damage is going to go through Stratus, dishing out so much damage up against Fusion University right now. They have secured one tick. There's the EMP.
EMP comes out. Meanwhile, look at who are you. 84% right now towards Dragonblade. They almost have the Transcendence as well. It's the Korean core of Fusion University that might be ready to strike here. They're going to back out, but Transcendence Blade coming up in the next fight. Going to be difficult to have a good response for this unless the Tire manages to just take someone out before it can really begin.
Tire possibly robbed. He's at 85% now towards that Transcendence. If you could just hit some orbs, he'll get it that much quicker. There it is. Hit some spam. 93% now. Even to pick up onto Alarm. He goes into back with the blade. He takes out Rob before he can get the Transcendence.
Goryu says, I don't need a Transcendence. But Butcher says, maybe you did. Right hooks him in the face with Theresa. Gets to go back out. And meanwhile, Stress still has the Tire. Goes, oh yeah, I can let this rip, can I? Here comes the Tire. Moving around, looking. Nope. Doesn't really matter, though. The fight, certainly the way of NRG Esports. Now, they're looking a little bit closer to a first point hold. 2 minutes away.
2 minutes away. Not too much invested into that last fight. It was just the blade along with Beast Halo's Primal Rage. So those are the tools that are going to be missing for this next push. While NRG, they are sitting pretty on a bevy of ultimates now. Damon with another hack. Hook missing, never mind, it connected. Beast Halo low. There's the EMP after the sound barrier, and so Damon picks up 2 kills with that.
Not only does it strip the sound barrier, but it stops Alarm from being able to transcend because he's just wrecked. All his shields, all the barrier down immediately. Zachary here in the back going, what has happened to my team? It's like, well, they got hacked. It's terrible. And now, actually on the verge of losing this one-on-one to Sombra here in the back. And this could be a tough stagger. Right now, if you call people back to kill Zachary, nope, he gets away.
Zachary able to slip away now. 1 minute and 12 seconds left for Fusion University. We've only got 61% here on the point. It did reset itself now. Kraken in the back, self-destruct out, but there are barriers in the way.
Alarm finally transcends, finally passes the Iris, gets through his spiritual mind block that was going on there. They killed the Bongos early on. Fusion University now controlling the point. Zachary about to have a pulse pop. A lot of people clumped up here. This is the perfect time to let it rip. Moving in, drops it, a fadeaway shot. Doesn't quite connect, but on the other side we have Who Are You, pulls out the blade, chopping his way through lattes all the while. Fusion University finally gonna get this payload moving.
Both teams finding it difficult to crack the point A defense, but they have now. Fusion University on just a bit of a quicker pace than NRG Esports. But NRG coming into this next defense, they're going to have an EMP along with that Valkyrie to use, so that's going to be a lot of AoE healing for them. It's just going to come down to Beast Halo with a Primal Rage, so a big power difference between the two teams.
Zachary on a wild adventure right now, coming in off the right flank. Unfortunately, finds himself vertically challenged, but hey, Winston Mercy just dropped down. Now he can get into the fray a little bit more. Specs getting a team back early, but again, it's Alarm getting picked off early here. Alarm has been a key target for NRG Esports, and it's not stopping here just yet as they move forward and push Fusion University back.
NRG did commit both of the ultimates that they had into that last fight, but now they have the self-destruct, or should have the self-destruct soon. There we go. Fusion University push forward with the sound barrier now. Rob answers back with the Transcendence. Counter dive coming out.
NRG Esports well prepared to deal with this dive here to begin with, but they dive a little bit too far in response. They end up getting the wrong end of the self-destruct, give Zachary the moment to come around the side and clean up, and Fusion University now sorely going to get progress that they need, as otherwise it would be far behind the time. It takes a while to bring this limo from the beginning of point B to the end.
Now take a look. Who are you? 85% towards his ultimate. Rob and Phazix just reset their counter here. So this is going to be the moment for Who Are You to come in. Pulse Bomb was committed by Zachary here, just to try to keep everyone contained inside the spawn zone. Smex that takes out Beast Halo.
NRG, powered by their tanks there, just win the tank war outright. Fusion University perhaps a little bit overextended there early on, and now they get to pay the price where they have to fully reset. And now they only have a minute 15 left to get into second.
That's a great stall for NRG because they do need those support ultimates. Phazix now at 36%, Rob at 50, but still, this is a big window of opportunity for Who Are You to get in without any support ultimates to try and contest him.
Well, the key here is Alarm has to transcend earlier. He's been holding on to transcend like it is just some form of cryptocurrency, and no, he's gonna transcend earlier here. That's what he needed. Doesn't get struck by the EMP. But Who Are You also wasn't in a position to immediately blade, so this blade will not be aided by the Transcendence. Who Are You doesn't care. Blade out to the back. Gonna get booped and bopped around by Winston. All the while, the tanks converge on Who Are You, stop him from getting what they want, but as they pull back, it left Zachary room to play on the other side. It's gonna be Fusion, ending up evening out the fight off of Who Are You's valiant sacrifice.
30 seconds.
Smex demacked and destroyed as Elk picks up his second kill in that team fight. 20 seconds left for Fusion University. They still have to secure second to keep this map alive for them.
Fusion University running out of time here. Zachary Pulse Bomb off. This is where Pulse Bomb can be so good as the team is coming back in, close an area, drops the Pulse Bomb to the back line, does not connect. Still, NRG has to come out of a rough area, but they have the Transcend to back it up. Who Are You's already down. Fusion University now in all sorts of trouble. Zachary gonna try and go in on the Discord Orb target, but it's NRG off really good positioning from the Transcendence, moving in, pushing Fusion University back. Huge man advantage here. It's gonna be up to Strauss now. Gets a sound barrier, drops a Pulse Bomb, moving back around. NRG, now they're gonna be able to bring this into the brink. Fusion University will fall here on Hollywood.
That was just missed timing. Butcher able to shut down the sound barrier on the other side. The Lucio tried to go for it, never hit the ground, never got the barriers off, even though they were that man down. That could have been the extra HP they needed to try and secure second there. But with that, NRG tied up 1-1 now.
So you guys had said that NRG had done some really amazing work keeping up the pressure in that first map, despite the fact that they lost to Fusion in the first round. What was the turning point in that first round where they lost?
The first point where they lost? Okay, so what I would say here about Fusion University is that Fusion University was doing really well in regards to their support play for the most part, but where they kind of ran into issues is that Alarm had a period where he wasn't pulling the trigger on Transcendence, where he was trying to get maximum value, and as a result, there are moments where, okay, you've held on too long, now you've gotten EMP'd, now you've given up an opportunity, and it gave NRG sort of moments to get through there where perhaps Fusion University just wasn't managing their ults the way they needed to.
Let's look at this Tracer replay. This is Fusion University. Who Are You? Tracer's 3K replay. Jamerson, why don't you talk us through this?
I mean, Who Are You? We already knew him for being such a great Genji, but he kind of came down to being like a Genji one-trick for Lunatic High, and since then he's had to really, make his hero pool a bit more robust, and he has. He's added on this Tracer. We've seen some amazing play coming out from him.
And it's not just been him either. It's anyone that's projectile DPS. If your team is trying to run a Sombra right now, you're one of the casualties here where you have to go hit scan because that's sort of where teams are going, where if you have to sacrifice a DPS to fit in a Sombra in some of these compositions, you're going to sacrifice your projectile DPS and still keep a Tracer on board.
All right, very cool. Well, we are tied up 1-1 in our second matchup of the day between Fusion University and NRG Esports. Join us after the break and catch the action again.